So we're going to talk about Medicare for these next several weeks, probably months. There's just a ton of information that we can go through with Medicare, and it seems to be one of the more challenging subjects that I talk about with a lot of my clients. And so there are four parts to Medicare: A, B, C, and D. Today we're going to focus on part A and B. We'll go over C and D, as we go through the process here. But part A is hospitalization coverage, and part B is your medical coverage. Now, part A is anything that happens in the hospital. And then it also will cover skilled nursing facilities and your hospice care as well. And, things like blood while you're in the hospital. That's all covered under part A. Part B is medical. So anything that happens outside the hospital. So we're talking your primary care doctor visits, specialist visits, or therapies. Those kind of things are all covered under Part B. But today, specifically, I want to talk about what to expect when enrolling in Medicare Part A and Part B. So if you are 65 years old or you're turning 65 years old and you are taking Social Security, you are automatically going to be enrolled in Medicare Part A and Medicare Part B. If you are not taking Social Security and you're turning 65, Medicare does not know you're turning 65, so you will not automatically be enrolled in Part A and Part B. So Part A has no cost. So because it's no cost, there's no reason to ever unenroll in Part A. Once you're enrolled, it is just additional coverage at no cost to you. Now, Part B has a $148.50 per month cost. Now, that cost can be avoided if you have insurance from an employer. So maybe you still have medical insurance from a pension plan, or maybe you're still working, or if you have some kind of credible coverage, you don't need Part B, so you can unenroll in Part B if you don't need Part B. With that being said, if you are aging in to Medicare at age 65 and you don't have insurance from an employer, you need Part B because the government will penalize you for not having Part B. So when you are turning 65 and you are aging into Medicare, you don't have Social Security, and Medicare doesn't know you're turning 65, you have to enroll because you will be penalized. I just can't say that enough. I always recommend starting that process early. I recommend 3 months in advance. So if you are aging into Medicare, you're not taking Social Security, start that process 3 months prior to turning age 65. If you had insurance from an employer and you lost insurance from an employer, either because you retired or maybe the pension no longer offered it, and you need to get Part B, then again, you need to start that process about 3 months in advance. That gives you plenty of time to start the process, get all of the paperwork you need for enrolling in other insurances that go along with Part A and B that we'll talk about later. But again, it is important to start that process early. So if you guys have any questions or concerns about this, as always, feel free to contact me. We're going to get into more details on what Part A and Part B cover next week, and then we'll go further from there.